Hello, welcome back to Solo Lapis. This is a video on an across Algonquin canoe trip we did in September of 2021. So let me show you a big overview of the trip across beautiful Algonquin Provincial Park, Ontario, from Magnetawan access point number 3 through to Shell Lake access point number 17. So this is the big picture. We did 10 days, including 2 rest days, about 136K all in all, including about 14K worth of portaging. Okay, from the parking lot at Magnetawan, we jump into the Petawawa River system, into Misty Lake, back into the river, into Trout Lake, up through to Big Trout Lake, up to Longer Lake, Red Pine Lake, into Burnt Root, back down to Red Pine, into Lemuir, over across to Hoken Lake, Big Portage, over to Big Crow Lake, then into Little Crow Lake, down the Crow River into Peru Lake, from Peru Lake into mighty Opeongo Lake, then through down Annie's Bay of Opeongo into the Opeongo River to Booth Lake, back into the river system, a couple little more lakes, and you're home free at Shaw Lake. So there's my pack and all my supplies and food. I want to keep it as light as possible. I'm going to be doing a lot of paddling and portaging. So we did it as a 4-man, 2-boat expedition. And since it's a one-way, we left a vehicle at the end, Shell Lake, loaded up the other car, brought that all on to the starting point. As you can see here, 2 boats on my vehicle here. In order to get both boats on, I extended my existing roof rack with some 2x2s clamped on, as you see here. If you want any more info on supplies and rigging up and everything, then let me know. Okay, let's get started. This is the first lake, Magnetawan access point, through to Misty Lake. So from Lake Magnetawan into Hambone, and then another little portage into Daisy. As you can see, I got a full mud soaking right on the second portage of the day, all part of the fun. So then we drop into the Petawawa River, long and meandering. Took our first snack break of the day, about halfway through the river tour. So there's a map of the daily route in the top left corner there, the red representing what we covered in that particular day. So we continue down the Petawawa River. I had to deal with a few beaver dams along the way. Sometimes you can just get some good speed and run them in one shot. Sometimes you have to lift yourself over. And then finally, we made it into Misty Lake, where the river opens up. Situo's dogs were barking. You had to let those feet get some air at them. Not the best paddling form, but we'll forgive them. This is our first site. It was on the island on the north part of the lake. Had a decent beach. We went for a little swim and cooked some steaks, the last of our non-dehydrated food. Man, they were good. Okay, day 2. So as you can see, some evidence of the old logging times in Algonquin. So from our camp at Misty Lake, we jump back into the Petawawa River as it meanders down into White Trout Lake, which would be our second camp of the trip. This is the morning after our camp on White Trout. Beautiful glassy water. It was a nice sight, layered, nice fire pit. That was the night that Scott let us know that he and Kira were expecting their first child, which was exciting. And later in the night, he accidentally brushed his teeth with antifungal paste, which was pretty hilarious. Day 3, we had the destination of Burnt Root Lake. So we set off from White Trout, which brought us through Big Trout Lake, up to Longer Lake, around to Red Pine Lake, finally, to Burnt Root. Sitch and Scoot were brave enough to run these little rapids there in their plastic beast. Paul and I opted for the Portage over land. So we selected a site on the island close to the middle of the lake on Burnt Root. This would be the far west site on that island. And it was one of the better ones of the trip. It had a full peninsula with great views of the lake. So this was the night before our first of 2 rest days. So we enjoyed the evening playing some cards and doing some stargazing on an exceptionally clear night. So after our rest day, day 5 was off to Hogan Lake. In order to do this, we had to backtrack a bit through Pine Lake and do some portages over to Lemuir. On this portage, we saw a pretty big black bear, as well as Paul having a little injury of rolling his ankle, but we made it through. And I captured neither on film, of course. We shopped around Hogan a bit and found this nice site with a little beach. We did some swimming. We tried to mentally prepare for the giant portage up the next day. Day 6, we had an early rise to a nice calm lake. This would be the day we would tackle the giant 3750 meter portage. Certainly the largest that I've ever done in my canoeing career. Yikes, scary stuff. So each team had a bit of a different strategy. Sitch and Scott double teamed their boat, carried it together along with their packs. Paul and I split it up. I took the boat and he took the packs. Both strategies proved to be effective in the end. You can see Paul's splinted and taped up ankle here and his walking stick. Allowed him to keep on walking and not re-aggravate the injury. How do you feel after the beast? After that, we made it into Big Crow, down through to Little Crow, and then meandered down the Crow River. Once at camp, we took a look at Paul's wound. Luckily, the field dressing kept it straight throughout the day, so he could continue on. Okay, day 6, went from Prue Lake into the famous Opiongo, largest lake in the park. When you stuck to the small bays and near the coast, it was a little calmer. Once you got out into the open water, it was quite wavy, quite choppy. As we searched for a campsite, pretty busy, being that there is road access to this lake. We had a hard time finding a site, but we did end up finding a beauty. Which was a good thing, because this was the night before our second and final rest day. So it was pretty secluded. The site had 2 campfire areas, and as we found, a private little beach in the back, which was pretty cool, nice and sandy. We all went for a swim while the sun was shining. There's also plenty of wood and debris around the site, so we took it upon ourselves over the evening and the next rest day to retrofit the campsite, build some benches, some hangout areas, and we spent the day chilling and playing cards and swimming. Day 9, we left Opeongo towards Booth Lake, down through Annie's Bay of Opeongo through to the Opeongo River, which had many little portages, some of which the other guys decided to run in their boats. We took the land routes. Nice little field mouse there. We continued down the Opeongo. It was good paddling and deep in some portions. Other portions a little weedy. Made it through to Booth Lake, where there was a old cabin, which I think you can rent and camp in. We checked that out on our way. So we made it to our final campsite of the trip, which was on one of the southern islands of Booth Lake on the far west side. Last day, from Booth Lake to the access point, we made our way down some rivers, ran this little rapid on our way down through some smaller lakes, through to the parking lot. And that's it. There you have it. We made it. What a trip. There's some sharp looking dudes there looking for a hamburger. Alright. See you next time.